Hey everybody, Mikey Indigo here once again for another episode of Knock It Off. Now, I'm doing multiple episodes back to back to back to keep up, to catch up. I wanted to put a lot of videos out there, do a lot of episodes, so that way I keep it with some fresh new content. But for the most part, I will be doing a new episode weekly. But I figured since the first one went so well, I'm gonna go ahead and do another episode on the same day. So this time, just to recap, last episode I talked about America being a Christian nation, which is not. Let's just be real about that. America is not a Christian nation. But the next thing I want to talk about is a very touchy subject that should concern Americans and actually concerns excuse me concerns quite a bit of American patriots. And that's the issue of gun control. Now, I'm just going to come out and say it. Me personally, I have no problem with gun control. As a matter of fact, I do think we do need to have gun control. But let me just set your mind at ease a little bit. What I mean by we need to have gun control is that means no one, not you, not me, not the police, not the military, nobody, not your grandmother, not your grandfather, not your mom, not your dad, nobody should own a gun. That means we ban them completely. They'd be illegal on planet Earth if we're going to do gun control right. Here's the problem with the gun control that's being implemented as we speak. As some of you may know, but any of you that's pretty much new to this information probably most likely don't know, on Christmas Eve, the United Nations passed the UN Small Arms Treaty, which basically means that all gun owners have to register their firearms. Which means now the government and the United Nations will know who has guns, and when the time comes to where they have to take the guns, they'll know who to go to. The treaty says that this is mandatory, but hopefully there are Americans smart enough to know that once something like that gets implemented, you know better than to register your guns with the UN. But the reason why I said I do not agree with the gun control that's being implemented now is, first of all, this is not something we asked for. This is something that's being done. It was being done in secret, and then it got leaked out, and then they said, okay, yeah, we're doing it. Plus, on top of that, the president of this country, President Barack Obama, promised back in 2007, 2008, when he was first running for president, is that he would not take our guns. He wouldn't take our shotgun. He wouldn't take our rifle. He wouldn't take our handgun. But then all of a sudden he gets into office and all of a sudden he just flipped like a pancake. All of a sudden he says, now we need gun control. And like I said, once again I said, just in case you didn't believe what I said, I'll say it again. Yeah, we do need gun control. But we need all or nothing gun control. Meaning that either everybody gives up their guns or no one gives up their guns. It's not going to be the citizens give up their guns while the police and military keep their guns, because we know where that leads to. We know what will happen as soon as they get all the guns from the citizens. Now they'll have free range to put plugs in people's asses anytime they want. And if you really want an example of that, forget about as a matter of fact, forget about Nazi Germany. We know millions of people died in Nazi Germany and Red China, Soviet Russia. We know about that. We know the millions of numbers. And for all we know, they may be fabricated numbers. I can't say for sure because I wasn't there during that period of history. But we can only go by the information that we have available to us. So going by that information, yes, that's bad. But if you really want an example, look at what's happening in the major cities in the U.S. where gun control is strict. That's New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, Miami, Detroit, Philadelphia, Boston. In major cities such as those, gun control is strict, especially here in New York. I live in New York City, so trust me, I know it is. And you already know the bullshit we had to deal with here in New York after the whole Eric Gardner thing, even though that wasn't done with a gun. But it is pretty much absolutely no doubt that when forget about cops for a second, when anybody has that much power to where I have an advantage, where I got a gun, and you have nothing. You're defenseless, which means I can come in your house, hold you at gunpoint, and say I'm going to rob you, and you can't do anything about it. And if you resist me, I will shoot you. So if we had all or nothing gun control, what this means is that you can't shoot me, I can't shoot you. You don't have a gun, I don't have a gun, you don't have a gun. So if you're going to have any kind of conflict, you better know how to knuckle up. Otherwise, don't start nothing, won't be nothing. That's exactly how it's got to be. Because if one set of people have guns and the other set don't, you got trouble. You got someone's going to enforce their will on someone else. And that can get very bad. Like I said, now we can refer to the examples from how millions of people died in Nazi Germany. And it's known, because Hitler said it himself, that you have to disarm the public. Because if they're armed, we can't touch them. See, they want to... What's going on with this New World Order is that they want to get as many people as possible to go along with this New World Order as quietly. And they know if they can't defend themselves while the enemy has the guns, most likely they'll just walk on quietly. Or else they'll die. Now, if nobody has guns and they still try to enforce their will, at least it's equal. Because it's either you better know how to fight or you better know how to keep your mouth shut. Because if you don't know how to fight and you're dealing with a situation where, because you can't use a gun, like I said, all or nothing gun control. If you don't know how to defend yourself without having to use a gun, then don't start any shit. Basically, that's I can't put it any simpler than that. Now, if the government, and I'm pretty sure they won't, if the government won't give up their guns like the people, then I say the citizens shouldn't have to give up their guns. Like I said, that's what all or nothing gun control is. It's everybody gives up their guns, or nobody gives up their guns. I'm sorry to repeat myself, but for the people who are trying to understand where I'm coming from, because they probably heard me say I'm for gun control, and they freaked out. They called me a socialist, a Marxist, a communist, and believe me, I'm nothing of the sort. I hate communism. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that there's got to be a line drawn between this gun control thing. It doesn't even have to be a gray area. It's black. It really is black or white if you think about it. Black, everybody has their guns. White, nobody has their guns. And if the government tries to take over, at least it will be a fair shot with the citizens. Because, okay, we don't have guns, but we sure are going to stomp a hole in your ass if we have to protect what we got. But at least you can't use a gun to do it. And I see nothing wrong with this. I see absolutely nothing wrong with this. If you can't defend yourself like a man, if you can't fight, if you feel you got to use a gun for every situation, then you're really a coward. And you better take some karate lessons or some boxing lessons or something. Take a self-defense course. If you're really worried about that, if you really feel like raw about giving up your gun and worrying about defending yourself. Because I'll tell you one thing. One way or another, they're going to try and push this gun control thing. And we all know, everybody watching this, and me myself know, that there's no way the government are going to give up their guns. The police won't give up their guns. Sure, they'll laugh in our faces. Can't give up our guns? Who do you think you are? And the military won't give up their guns. The UN peacekeeping jerk-offs won't give up their guns. So, that leaves you with, okay, well, if you're not giving up your guns, we're not giving up our guns. Point blank. There's not going to be any, okay, we'll give up our guns and just take your word for it. Because put it this way, as we all know, even if you're in the deepest slumber, you know at some point you can't trust the government to keep their word. And there should be no. And if you really have a hard time believing that, then just go back to every presidential debate where they said, "Oh, we're going to create jobs and balance the budget and do this and do that, and we're not going to take your freedoms away, and we're going to respect the Constitution." Go as far back as you can to where they were televising it, or maybe even having the debates on the radio. Like, go that far back, and then see if the government can be trusted then. Anyway, that's my rant on gun control. Once again, if you like what you hear, please subscribe on YouTube. Rise Beyond the Matrix is the name of the channel. And also check out the website, shattertheillusion.wordpress.com. Once again, that's shatter, SHATTER, theillusion.wordpress.com. Once again, this is Mikey Indigo. Thanks for watching. Peace.